The process of converting units of measure is practical in everyday life, in things like building or baking, things like that. It's also practical in the upper level sciences. The process we're going to use to convert measurements is used a great deal in chemistry and physics and things like that. So we're going to start with converting units in length. So we have our chart. 12 inches is a foot, 3 feet in 1 yard, 5,280 feet in 1 mile. And using this chart, we're going to first convert 14 feet to yards. So I'll write down 14 feet. And to do unit conversions, you always multiply by a fraction. You want the units on the bottom of the fraction to be the same units you started with. So whatever units you want to get rid of, put those units on the bottom of your fraction. I don't want to have feet anymore. I put feet on the bottom of the fraction. The units I want to end up with go on the top. I want to end up with yards, so I put yards on the top. Now using the chart, I can fill in numbers for that fraction. I know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Now we can multiply the two fractions. Looking diagonally, the feet cancel. 3 and 14 don't reduce down any, so I'll just multiply my fractions across the top. 14 times 1 is 14, and across the bottom, 3. The units left are yards, which is what we wanted, so it's 14/3 yards. Now, if you were going to tell somebody how far something is, you would never say 14/3 yards. You would want to change that to a mixed number. So remember, to do that, you divide the top number by the bottom number. 3 goes into 14 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract. So it's 4 2/3 yards. Convert 5 2/3 yards to feet. So I have a mixed number at the beginning. Let's change that to an improper fraction. You multiply 5 times 3 and then add 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 more is 17. 17/3 yards. Multiply by a fraction. I want to get rid of yards, so yards goes on the bottom. Feet is what I want to end up with. That goes on the top. And then using our conversion chart, I know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Canceling diagonally, yards cancel with yards, and diagonally the other direction, 3 divides out with the other 3. So multiplying across the top, we have 17 feet. Across the bottom is just 1, so 17 feet is the result. Now weight. 16 ounces is 1 pound. 2,000 pounds is 1 ton. We're going to use the same process to do the conversions for weight that we used for length. Convert 3 pounds to ounces. So I have 3 pounds. I want to multiply by a fraction. I want rid of pounds, so pounds goes on the bottom. Ounces is what I want to end up with, so ounces goes on the top. And I know from our conversion chart that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. Reducing diagonally, pounds go away. Multiplying the tops, 3 times 16 is 48. Bottom is just 1, I don't need to write that, so 48 ounces. This one is a little bit trickier. Convert 2 tons to ounces. So go ahead and write 2 tons. Now, when I go to multiply my fraction, there's nothing in the chart that relates tons to ounces. The only thing that relates tons is pounds. So I'm going to have to use an intermediate fraction on my way to ounces. I don't want tons, so tons goes on the bottom. And again, I can't put ounces on the top. I can put pounds because I know that there are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. Now let's try to get from pounds to ounces because the tons are going to go away. I'm left with pounds. I don't want to keep pounds, so pounds goes on the bottom. And I can relate ounces to pounds from my conversion chart. There are 16 ounces in 1 pound. Cancel out the pounds. Then across the top, I multiply 2 times 2,000 times 16, which is 64,000. And I'm left with ounces, a 1 on the bottom, which I don't have to write. Capacity. So now we're in the kitchen, converting recipes. 6 fluid ounces is 1 cup, 2 cups is 1 pint, 2 pints is a quart, and 4 quarts in a gallon. Convert 5 1/3 cups to pints. So again, this mixed number we want to change to an improper fraction. Multiply 5 times 3 and then add 1. That would be 16/3 cups. I want rid of cups, so cups goes on the bottom. On the chart, I can relate cups and pints, so pints on top. There are 2 cups in 1 pint. Reduce diagonally. Cups are gone. I can also reduce the 2 into the 16. 2 and 16 both divide by 2. That would leave a 1 and an 8. Multiply across the top and we have 8. Across the bottom we have 3. 8/3 pints. Let's change that to a mixed number. 8 divided by 3. 3 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract. So 2 and 2/3 pints. Convert 18 pints to gallons. So 18 pints. Multiply. I want rid of pints, so pints goes on the bottom, but there's nothing in our conversion chart that directly relates pints to gallons. What pints are related to are quarts, because we're trying to get larger, we're trying to get to gallons, so pints and quarts are related. I know that there is 2 pints for 1 quart. So that gets rid of pints, but I don't want to stay with quarts. So I want rid of quarts. Quarts goes on the bottom. There is a way to relate quarts and gallons, so now I can put gallons on the top. There are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. So now my quarts reduce. I have so many numbers. Let's go ahead and just multiply all the way across the top and all the way across the bottom. 18 times 1 times 1 is 18. Over 2 times 4 is 8. 18 and 8 both divide by 2. So let's divide both of those by 2. That would be 9/4 gallons. And again, let's go ahead and make that a mixed number. 9 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract. So 2 1/4 gallons.